Ready Check Radio.
Hello, Internet! Welcome once again to Snowbound. It's Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern. That means it's time for a podcast, the Blizzard Podcast, in fact, brought to you by ReadyCheckRadio.com. We love having you here every Tuesday for Snowbound, Thursday for the Relic Grind, and Saturday for Gaming Gumbo. Plus, all the different streamers. Mike just broke my pen. That's great. All the different streamers streaming throughout the week. Check the schedule on ReadyCheckRadio.com, RAIDEO. And if you're listening on Spotify, head on over to the site. Follow all the socials in the upper right, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. And hell, bring your friends, come to a live show. We love hanging out with chat, getting their responses to things in real time in the show. It's a two-man operation today. It's just me and Mr. Dom Greco, a.k.a. Zista. What's up, sir?
How's it going? How you doing today?
Ooh, what do you got? On your left, you have become one of Snowbound's mightiest heroes. You are, in fact, on my left. You are, in fact.
Avengers Assemble.
Oh, yes. That's fantastic. So happy.
It's you. You're the picture over there. Did you notice? It's you. You're angry like the Hulk.
I don't know if I want to do this two-man shit anymore. Have to get somebody else for this gig. Indy, a little tied up in an appointment today. No big deal. She'll be back next week. We love her. She's fine. She's fine. Just a little tied up in traffic. She'll be back here next Tuesday. No worries. Well, I mean, there's not a lot of news, Mr. Zista, in the Blizzard arena. I mean, this is the Blizzard podcast. We got some things to talk about. There's definitely some news, but, we're kind of in that like in-between space for everything right now.
Yeah.
Shadowlands, it launched. We're waiting on 9.1 now. Overwatch 2, next year. Diablo 4, next year. Hearthstone had an expansion. Talked about it last week and the week before. We'll talk a little more because some odds and ends and fixes and stuff, but, their big thing was last week and the week before. Yeah, so it's kind of a little bit of a doldrums period, but that doesn't mean that there ain't controversy, brother. It doesn't mean
that's true
that there isn't controversy. Now, something we've talked a little bit about on the show here before, between myself and all the other hosts here, we have talked about maybe being a little concerned 3 or 4 weeks ago about 9.1 taking a little longer than normal, maybe, but we were still working heroics at the time, so, maybe it was just imagined, and, well, we weren't the only ones with those concerns, obviously,
right.
But a few weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, in fact, and I don't know if you saw this, we didn't bring it to the show because it was really just, somebody talking on their stream, right? It really wasn't like news or anything, but then this past week, Blizzard made an announcement, and all of a sudden, this offhanded kind of comment on a very prominent World of Warcraft streamer's stream maybe started carrying a little more concern. We're talking, of course, about Tally, and to be clear, first off, like, both of us know Tally in real life. So full disclosure there. Like, he would not remember me, but we passed at Game Breaker. Zista, he would remember you. You guys have known each other for a while.
Yeah, and Indy actually used to do a podcast with him.
Right.
That's actually how I met Tally and met him a couple times at BlizzCon.
And you might say
I think it's
the
same thing. He probably wouldn't recognize my name either, but yeah.
Yeah. When somebody starts criticizing a game you love, it's very easy to just throw the hater label on them, right? Towley is like the least likely person to ever have the WoW hater label thrown on him. Like, he may gripe about something, but and Blizz knows that dude loves the game, right? Like, he wants this game for another 40 years to just keep going and keep doing its thing and keep being awesome. So, breaking from what we normally do, I'm going to play you a clip so that if you haven't seen it, you know what we're talking about here. And you're going to see that it's only, I'm only going to show you like the 20 seconds or 30 seconds that's relevant to what we're talking about. But to set it up, Towley expressed a few concerns, Zista, about the 9.1 release date and expressed them to some people that are on the inside, let's say. Now, he didn't disclose them or anything, but he expressed those concerns to Blizzard's staff that he knows in kind of a casual conversation, not like an interview format or anything.
Right.
So let's play that for them, everybody watching, and then we'll come on back.
Yeah. I spoke to someone over there, and I asked him about 9.1, and I was like, 9.1, man, or girl, whoever I was talking to, I was like, I'm worried. And they even responded with, you know what, I'm worried too. Like a lot of people that are at Blizzard, they're worried that if 9.1 takes as long as they predict it will, that even by 9.1, people might not want to play it because of how long it takes or it will take. And these are people that are over there saying this. They know they're in trouble. It's sad because they want 9.1 and they want this expansion to be so good, and they're just having a hard time getting it done.
So it's one thing, Zista, to be chatting with your stream, playing a game, or doing a podcast like this and saying, 9.1 feels a bit far away and a bit too far away. That's one thing. To then express that there are people on the inside working on 9.1 that also have those concerns. That's an entirely different beast. And again, Towley said this like 2 Tuesdays ago, but that was by itself. Really, it didn't have, wasn't really worth bringing to the show. It was just, hey, Towley was chatting with his stream. And we really didn't have any information on any potential 9.1 at that time. I show you that clip because that changed, but let's talk about his clip because that is a very different beast to be talking about staff having those same concerns.
Yeah, it's definitely a whole nother beast when you get somebody that has insider information to basically relay that stuff. At the same time, like it feels like almost like the influencer probably shouldn't be mentioning those kind of things. Like that could bring up problems, and potential dealings in the future. I don't think he meant anything malicious by it. I think he was trying to like humanize the situation. But yeah, the pandemic is still having echo effects going down the trickle effects down the line here of like certain things get delayed, certain stuff, like little things you take for granted of just like being able to walk over to somebody's desk and getting, some information, and just being like, hey, feedback, what do you think of this? Like now it's got to go down the line and like the whole thing has to be, if you're working with files or art or anything, it's got to go somewhere 3-4 times, revisions, come back, this, when before you could just edit it on the desk, have somebody come by and be like, no, okay, blue, no, let me change that blue. But now you got to change it back, send it, and you send the whole file. No, this blue, little lighter, little dark. It's like
we could just reskin the elves in level 6 to a different color.
Yeah.
Sorry, so I got some Grandma's Boy on the line. Such a great movie. Such a great movie.
Yeah. But it's like everything just takes so much extra time. It's insane. So like
and to be honest, like when you look at the schedule wise, and again, I don't like I know many people that work for Blizzard, but not to the extent to have these types of conversations with them. Right? They're acquaintances, not close friends to me. So. And I don't have any knowledge of their scheduling and things. But if you just look from software development, which is what I do, and project management, which is what I do, if you had to pin what were they working on when COVID started, it was probably the 9.1 more than it was probably the expansion at that time. Because remember, this really didn't get started in the United States till March into April. The expansion was originally scheduled to come out in October and came out in November. And granted, yes, they are still working on portions of the expansions in that last 5-month run-up to release, but the bulk of that is done, And a lot of the team, or some of the team, has moved on to start the 9.1, which had already started, but now is in earnest. So it's almost understandable to me that COVID hit 9.1 a little harder than it hit the expansion itself. I think it hit both, absolutely. But I think it's understandable that it might hit 9.1 a little harder. Yep. But by that same token, there is the customer service aspect of the business that they've got to be watching. You have to, for living games like this, live service games, which most MMOs are, you have to keep pushing the content. And in an era where you are making extras of millions because of that same pandemic that put you behind, you have to be able to adjust to that. And it is a little concerning that we're now a year later, and I don't see, in fact, I see more layoffs, right? Not adjustments to staff and allocation, but more layoffs. I don't know if that's necessarily the best look. I think you get a better look if you've been hiring to try and fix, hey, we're falling behind. We're sinking a little bit. We need to staff up a little bit. We're getting bludgeoned with demand. But they've kind of done the opposite, so it creates a bad look either way.
Sure does. Sure does.
Insightful commentary.
No, I'm just like sitting here thinking, and I'm just like, it's absolutely insane, like how crazy this pandemic has affected things, and like you don't realize it until like you really start looking at it now, because like we have in the notes here, you have the length between things, and I was actually just kind of staring at that, just like completely. When you just call it on me now,
flabbergasted,
like,
aren't you?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's just like, what is going on? Like, I could understand, like I don't know. Like,
it's really weird though, watching two companies handle it differently, because we all know that I'm a Final Fantasy 14 baby as well. And Square Enix in Q4 of I think it might have been Q3 actually, but in Q3 of Q4, when they announced financials and they were up and things like that, they even said in their shareholders conference, they said, look, this is very, very good financial outlook, a very, very good financial report. But we need to call out and point out that 2021 is where we're probably going to get hurt the most. Not what we already had slated to release this year.
Right.
What we had slated to release next year, 2021 at the time. That's the year that we're going to get hurt a little bit. And so you stockholders, you need to be aware of that. There's going to be title shifting. Then you have Blizz, who's kind of cordoned off themselves and just, hey, Bobby Kotick gets a bonus. That stupid type of news. Yeah. And would we be talking about this? Probably, but to the extent that we have in past shows. You guys still feel like it's taking a little too long? Yeah, I feel like it's taking a little too long. All right, let's go to the news. But we did get an announcement from Blizz in the past week that acknowledges 9.1 a little bit and when it may be coming to the PTR.
Yeah.
From Bornak on the official forums, with 9.05 or 9.0.5 behind us, we wanted to take a moment to update you on the 9.1 content for Shadowlands. In about 2 weeks, now keep in mind this was posted last week, in about 2 weeks, we will have Chains of Domination available for the community on the PTR. Also, raid testing details will be posted a week or so after the PTR is online. There will be a wide variety of content to check out for Chains of Domination. So, as always, your testing will play a key role in iterating on this update. We can't wait to hear from, we can't wait to get this in front of you and look forward to your feedback soon. So that's definitely good news, right? PTR, It's coming. Fantastic. Great news. What it also says, though, is in a couple of weeks. So let's take a couple at 2, right? They said this last week. So let's put that at next Tuesday, right? And we're estimating that date, April 13th. They didn't give an exact date. They just said a couple of weeks, but I think it's reasonable for us to estimate and put it on a Tuesday, right? of April 13th. So 1 week from today could potentially be the date that we see 9.1 hit the PTR. That's not release.
No.
That's hit the PTR for a patch that has
all the raid testing on top of that.
Yeah, you got I was just about to say that's for a patch that not only has a raid, but has a mega dungeon, has a new zone, has the new storylines coming with all of the Covenant quests. It is 9.1 is not a slouch of a .1 patch. It's actually on the bigger side of the .1 patches if you look throughout history. We've had .1s that didn't have a raid at all.
Yeah.
We've had .1s that put 2 old raids and made them 5-man heroics. You know, we've had all of those types. This .1's pretty big, so we'll give them that.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm gonna show you a little chart here. Beautiful graphic here.
Yeah, this is the one I was just staring at before.
You take a look at that. That gives you the number of days from the expansion launch through the .1 patch for that expansion. And we have called out like little or bigger things, like if there was a raid included, you know, kind of giving you what raid. Now, if we just put in for Shadowlands our estimated date, by the way, of the PTR launch of 4/13, and compare that to the actual launch date, the live launch date of all the .1s, we are closing in on the longest. And that's just to get it to the PTR. That's just to get it to the PTR, Zista.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think back in terms of like Vanilla WoW, because Vanilla WoW seemed to have gone on forever, right? Like,
no, you know what went on forever? Warlords of Draenor. Anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But like, no, but like I was playing a lot of like vanilla, you know, and like I wasn't bothered by the fact that content wasn't coming because like that was kind of the new, like I wasn't big into MMOs and stuff before that. WoW was like, I don't want to say it was my introductory one because I played Star Wars Galaxy before that, but I wasn't like tracking how long updates went and, you know, trying to figure all that stuff out. So like vanilla just seemed like it.
Yeah,
took
and that's kind of a bad
a
comparison
long time.
point for you at that point.
Yeah.
Like, because when you're talking about Star Wars Galaxies, you're talking about a lot of user-generated content.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
That's the game. You can get by with less frequent PvE patches when you're primarily based on a sandbox and not the PvE experience. So yeah, that would be a little bit of a, hey, it doesn't matter to me when you got to vanilla. Oh, there's a patch? Cool. There's not a patch? Okay, cool. It doesn't matter because you come from this. You did the same shit for 6 months because it was you and your friends creating the content.
Exactly. You know, so like vanilla, I don't have numbers for this obviously right now, but like I would like to see what the gap between some of those patches and stuff were, because I feel like they might have been longer than Shadowlands right now. It's the way I feel at the time. I don't know, but yeah, Shadowlands is closing in on the longest, which was Ulduar.
I mean, it's gonna surpass it, right? It's gonna, because we only have 11 days.
100%.
If we use 4/13, they're not gonna test, you know, 9.1 and the raid in 11 days and then push it live. So Shadowlands will exceed all timelines by the time we're said and done. It's 11 days shy just using the date that it's getting to the PTR.
Yeah.
Here's the concern. Here's the concern for me. Like, this is almost end of the expansion cycle gap, not beginning of the expansion cycle gap. We're almost used to seeing these longer extended, again, Warlords of Draenor, let's hope it was an anomaly, because that was, you know, one of the most expensive expansions for one of the ones with the fewest actual content by the time it was all said and done. And I hope we're not going down that path. But this is end of the expansion, and Whole Milk saying it in chat. And if you're listening to this on Spotify, you're missing a very great visual. So check it out on YouTube. Maybe they'll announce the next X-Pack when .1 releases. Honestly, as silly as that sentence sounds, Zista, we actually wouldn't be all that far from starting to talk about the next expansion if
Yeah.
Shadowlands had been on a more, Battle for Azeroth, Burning Crusade type development timeline so far. That's a weird thought.
It is. I just pulled up the patch release history for Vanilla WoW. So it launched on November 7th, 2004. The first raid patch was 8 months later in July 12th, right? Assault and Blackwing Lair. But there was 5 patches between that. 4 patches between that. We had Moradon, new dungeon introduced 2 months later. Then we had we had Dire Maul added 3 months after that. We had the epic priest and hunter quests added with the honor system in patch 1.4 in April. That was 1 month after that. 2 months after that were Battlegrounds introduced, Alterac Valley and Warsong Gulch. And then 1 month later in July, that's when Blackwing Lair was added. So they were doing like little micro updates, and I kind of, looking back, I kind of miss that, instead of just like, let's do it all at once. Like, I feel
the
like
other concerning thing too, if you think about this, is that 141 should be 168.
Yeah,
because Shadowlands itself was delayed a month.
Yeah.
So if it had come out on time, we'd
Right.
be at 168 right now. And I gotta say, I fully expect that this probably isn't coming until, my personal guess, if all goes well in testing, by the way, and they don't want to just rush it out the door because they have the concerns that Towley expressed. Early May, I think you're wishing on a star, Whole Milk. I think you're wishing on a star. I think this stays in PTR for 2 months, a month and a half to 2 months. I would guess late June to mid-July.
That's
personal guess.
That is exactly what I'm thinking.
Yeah, early May. I think you're wishing on a star. This is a big patch. You got to credit where due. But if they're going to test it fully, I mean, the raid testing is usually, 2 to 3 weeks by itself, isn't it? When the raid hits the PTR?
Yeah, because they usually spend a weekend on like 1 or 2 bosses. Usually like a Saturday will be one boss, a Sunday will be another boss. So,
and we got the mega dungeon, which has got 8 bosses of its own for that content, and then the actual just, general story content and new zone and stuff like that too. I think early May is a total pipe dream, chat. I think that's not going to happen. I think if you wanted to wish on a star and maybe had a possibility, early June. I think most likely late June. I'm sorry, mid-July. Yeah, late June into mid-July, which would then put this, 200 days over, which I could see why Towley might be concerned, and more importantly, why Towley's comments are even more relevant looking at it this way, than why Blizzard staff might be concerned.
Yeah. I don't know. Looking back, I miss this old release style of just like, you have a dungeon ready, just throw it out there. Like, boom. You don't have a raid ready, whatever. You got some other stuff going in the middle. Just little stuff, like just staggering stuff. Just like, if you were just to drop the new mega dungeon right now with all the other content not ready, that's enough to tide people over to not have them be super upset. Just like, give us little bits and pieces. That strategy of release might actually benefit them more in the pandemic.
I think they've totally lost the ability to do that. Not that they don't want to or that they wouldn't consider it. I don't think the systems support it anymore. Their development is so iterative and built on previous systems. I don't think they can just say, hey, let's put that new dungeon in, that mega dungeon in, because the systems that they've built for the gearing, the Valor point spending, it just doesn't, they can't put it in as a bite-sized piece by itself.
I mean, they could put it in right now, put the mega dungeon in, but not have like any power creep rewards. Just scale it down to the same stuff we're getting. It's at least something new to run, gives the people that are actually running Keystones, something new to try, get
Okay,
acquainted
but
with the
what
dungeon a little bit.
does that really solve it though? I mean, because
It doesn't solve it, but
you run it a
kind
couple of
of
times over
masks
the
it,
course of 2
you know?
weeks. There's no real incentive to run it. It becomes another Torghast, and then when 9.1 does come and you make gear changes to it, nobody wants to go back and do it. Like, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Throw as many dungeons at me as you want. I love running.
It just
dungeons.
masks the content taking forever. Just if you
Right.
release it in small little bite size, then you feel like
Yeah.
you're still getting something. Like it keeps things fresh to a degree instead of waiting 7 months, 8 months to get one giant piece of content. Just throw a little bit at us. Like even just throwing a couple quest chains at us that we didn't have before. Like anything. I don't know.
Let me ask you this. So on the scale of this is fine to, oh my God, Azeroth is burning down. On that scale.
Oh my God, the tree is on fire.
Yeah, exactly. Did you see what bitch did? So on that scale of that, and if we both are in agreement, late June to mid-July, there's others talking about August, so I'm not willing to quite go that far, but I could see why they might think it is, because this is a big .1 patch, comparatively speaking, to other .1s. Where do you fall on the scale? How important is this to get out? Because perception definitely, or reception, I should say, definitely comes into this too, where you can't afford to really have .1 be late and be broken in a lot of ways. You can't have both. You shouldn't have any, but you really can't have both.
Yeah. For me, I personally don't mind the delay in content. This is just I'm probably in the minority of but I'm not somebody who sits and plays one game, and I think Byrne, you can agree with me on this. There's a lot of games that are out there right now that people are interested in and want to play, and for me, this is just time to go do that. I welcome times like this. I like that big gap at the end of an expansion where I get to play a lot more stuff than what I normally do, instead of sitting on WoW constantly and farming and grinding and this, that. Like I like having this little break to feel rejuvenated, to want to come back for the more content. But at the same time, this is a subscription-based game.
Yeah, I was just saying, at the same time, you're paying $15 a month to play other things.
Exactly.
Unless you want to let your subscription lapse and then come back, and there are people who do that. That's totally fine. Yeah.
So, it's rough. I'm going to stay subbed to WoW no matter what, whether I'm playing it or whether I'm not. Like I'm subbed. That's just how it goes for me. I'm always going to play at least one day a week, like raid night. I will log on Friday nights till the next patch, as long as everybody's still, coming. If we decide, in a couple months, and it's like we're still a month out and we want to just take a break, and stop raiding until whatever, like we'll deal with that when the time comes, and I may not log on every week, or something at that point. But I'm content with where it is right now. I can understand why people are upset with not wanting to sub at this point, and you have all those incentives of, here's a new mount for the 6-month subscribers. And it's like, yeah, that's great for the people that are already subbing.
Yeah, that's the shitty side of this right now. We talked about them taking the different game time cards away besides the 60 days. When you combine it with stuff like this, it looks like, hey, you're concerned with people doing exactly what we just talked about and saying, okay, you know what? I'll see you in July. I'll see you in August. I'm going to unsub and go play Final Fantasy, or I'm going to unsub because Outriders just came out, or I'm going to unsub and do this and play that for a while, and I'll come back. It's almost like, well, wait a minute. Blizz, now I got to buy 60 days. Oh, it's like you knew there were going to be people doing this. Or putting incentives on right now for the 3 and 6 month things, I think is just terrible optic-wise right now. It's absolutely terrible. It's like, we'll give you a mount if you stay subbed. We'll have content, trust me. It'll be later this year. And it's going to be interesting to see how this impacts the rest of the schedule, the .2, the .3, the expansion announcement, because I think we're in for a little longer between the two expansions than we may have experienced in the past. And if there's no if there's no additional content to absorb that time, You know, can you get away with more time between the two expansions, but the same number of patches as you typically have? I don't think you can when you're talking about 9-month intervals.
I've even heard people say we're only gonna have 2 raid tiers.
I've heard that too.
You know, and I'm like, how do you possibly think that's gonna be the case? You really think that we're only gonna get 2 because they're gonna want to push the next expansion? Because like if they're having trouble releasing little patches and you know, not little, but patches for this expansion, how do you expect them to pull out a whole nother expansion quickly enough that, you know, I don't see it. I think we'll still have the same amount. This might be the longest expansion for WoW. It might just take that time, but you know, like, just come out and say it, Blizzard. You're struggling from COVID.
Yep.
People will understand. You know, like that's all you got to say.
I think you get that as a pass on the .1. I don't think you get it as a pass on .2, .3. .1, I think people like myself that understand probably when things were being developed, .1 was probably very, very impacted by COVID.
Well, if that's impacted, like you gotta expect .2 is gonna be affected as well.
No,
maybe not.
I don't think that's a reasonable expectation that you can assume. .1 is delayed. Degree. .2 may be delayed a little bit. .3 may be delayed a little bit. No, work within the you just made extra millions. Bring in the staff that you need to take care of it in the short term. If your concern is customer retention over profits, which, okay, I just lost. We're talking about Activision Blizzard right now. So it is not about customer retention over profits right now.
I'm just saying if it's hard enough for them to build one thing to like plan out and then start building the second thing before the first thing's even done is probably an unlikely expectation. So
that's fair.
You know, like they're gonna like, I'm sure the planning, the creative aspect of it and like the thinking and the planning and the written work was not affected, but the actual creation of it, I still think it's going to have a trickle. Is it going to affect it to the degree that .1? No, I don't think so.
Hopefully not.
Yeah, I don't think so. But I still think it'll affect it. Not this drastically, but maybe by a month or so.
Hey, remember to take care of your tadpoles. The March of the Tadpoles is going on right now. Yeah. Help those murlocs. Adopt your favorite tadpole. Feed it. Don't let it get eaten by shit. That started yesterday. Go have fun. Easter event.
I've actually never done it.
You've never done it?
I've never.
That's like one of the few WoW events I can remember actually doing.
Yeah.
I do every one in Final Fantasy. I'm sporadic in WoW. I remember doing tadpoles. I have never done Noble Garden. That's also running right now. Have you done that one?
Noble Garden's going on right behind me right now. Look at all those rabbits running all over the place, people chasing after them, getting the eggs. Yeah, I've done that. I've gotten pretty much everything except for like the transmog pieces, but like all the Hearthstones, pets, toys, mounts, that I got all those.
You have all the achievements?
Yeah.
So that you have the title The Noble?
I do. I actually made sure I got all that before was it Burning Crusade when they added like that time. I got everything that one go, so that by the time the 1 year mark hit, I had the 310 flying speed and didn't have to pay for it.
Zista the Noble. Speaking of BC, that's the time walking event this week. I'm sure you're thrilled. It's your favorite. Black Temple's there though if you want to do some time walking raiding.
I already got both my Warglaives. I don't need them again.
You and your damn Demon
They're on my
Hunter.
Rogue, though, so I might need them on my Demon Hunter.
All right, let's leave WoW for a little bit, talk about some other stuff here. Let us know what you think, by the way, about 9.1 and its delay. And if you've got a guess about the release date, go ahead and put it in the comments underneath this video, either on our YouTube page or right on ReadyCheckRadio.com. We'd love to hear what you think. Do you agree with Tally? Is there concern at Blizz? You know, have you heard stuff through the grapevine? Let us know. Put it down below. Moving on. Let's talk a little Overwatch. I wanted to actually ask you something about Overwatch. We spent a lot of time on Overwatch last week. We spent quite a bit of time on Overwatch last week. I want to ask you about the Archives event. So that just started, right? Yeah.
This right here.
Yes, that. Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. When we saw the trailer like 2 or 3 days ago, I think, was it 2 days ago? Yeah, I think it was 2 days ago. Yeah, April 4th. Some fans immediately kind of got miffed. Now, this event started today, but fans were a little upset about it, apparently, because it kind of looked like just the same as, there was every year there's like new this and that, and it didn't look like there was any this and that this year. Is that what ended up happening? Like, is that the case, or did Blizzard just like pull a fast one and the trailer didn't reveal anything? Like, what happened here?
I think the
pissed.
trailer. My assumption is they didn't spend any time with the trailer updating it. They probably just recycled one from like the year before or something like that and threw it out for us. We do in fact have new skins, new challenges. There's stuff. I saved it here because I wanted to open my loot box that I get. We're gonna open it right here. Open it.
Breaking news right here on Ready Check Radio. Oh, you got shit. You got garbage.
I got actually 3 of them, so it's all right. Just for logging in.
Maybe this will be better. Oh, we got a perps. We got a purples. It's garbage.
I got a new emote.
That's garbage.
It's all right.
That's trash.
And then the last one.
Oh, no perps. Just a blue.
Oh.
Nope.
Nope. Nothing good.
Nothing good.
But yeah, here's all the new stuff, right? So we got this Genji skin here. This one I actually saw Mr. Jason Winters talking about in our.
Yeah, he wasn't
group.
that big a fan.
No.
I don't know. Did I read it right? Jason, did you like this one or did you not like it? I don't remember. Jason's in chat talking about spicy owl news that broke this morning. Overwatch League news. I assume he's talking about Fearless. I would assume.
He said I was a fan of the skin. I'm just not a fan of Genji.
Gotcha. So I misunderstood. Thought he didn't like the skin. What else do you got there?
We got the soldier one. I really like this one.
I like that. Very colonial soldier looking.
Yeah, I like it a lot. Cavalry tracer skin. Looks all right. It's not her best skin, but it's not bad. We got a musketeer for Widowmaker. Which
that looks sharp.
The skin is called Musketeer, just in French. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that because I don't speak French. And then Zarya. I think this is one of Zarya's better skins.
That is sharp.
It's all right. I'm not a big Zarya fan. And then the weekly challenge skins. We got the Lucio. This is for week 1. We got the Mercy for week 2. I don't know how I feel about that hair. It just looks weird. I'm used to her being a blonde. And then Subaquatic Zenyatta. This is week 2. So Mercy, I guess, is week 3. Yeah. So I like this one, the deep sea diver.
That is nice. So it was much ado about nothing then.
Yeah, pretty much.
Overwatch players decided to be little babies because they didn't see new sexies in the trailer. And they got the new sexies, right? That's what ended up happening.
Yep.
All right.
So from what I understand, the way this event works, and this is probably one of the events that you would actually enjoy, Mike, is this is a PvE event.
Is it in Overwatch? Yeah, I probably wouldn't enjoy it. No, I know. I'm kidding. Tell me more. You had me at PvE Overwatch.
So you get these challenge missions here in the arcade. And they're based on, you get 3 different stories. You got Uprising, Retribution, and Storm Rising. Each one of them are story, where the first 3 options, you get a set of 4 heroes that you have to play. Everybody gets to pick one. Like, if you get in and you lock Tracer in first, you're the only person that can play Tracer. The other 3 have to fight over the other 3 that are left. But then they have the all heroes mode where you could queue up as anybody. But for the actual story with the dialogue and the cutscenes and all that, you got to play with those particular ones. And I feel like this is kind of like a preview of what Overwatch 2 is probably going to be like in terms of
it sounds
what
like
the story
exactly what they have planned for the hero mode.
Yeah, so this is one of my favorite events, and it's ever since like this event was going on 4 or 5 years ago, like this is something that I always wanted in Overwatch was the story mode. So, um, but yeah, so
Jason
the
in
way
chat
that
saying, if
this
I play Overwatch this week, he'll play with me.
so the way this works is they actually changed this. They changed this a little bit this year in terms of like previous ones. Previously, you would have to do 9 wins to unlock this Lucio skin here. Um, but from what I see now, as I haven't done it yet, is you earn 10, 20, or 30 stars in the archive missions. Earn double credit for Uprising. The reward is the icon. So you get a player icon at 10, you get a spray at 20 stars, and then the skin at 30 stars. To earn the stars, you go in, you do the challenge modes and stuff like that.
Right.
And it says, so this one is Uprising. So this week, all the Uprising ones give double points. So obviously you're going to want to play Uprising. These are the same as the story mode, the challenge ones, except they have modifiers on the stuff. So like in Uprising here, you have the first one that's Molten Cores, where the enemies drop lava when they die. The other one are Glass Cannon. Players have very little health, but they do, 3 times more
Tons
damage.
of damage, right.
And then the bulletproof barriers, the enemy barriers are invulnerable. They do not break. So they're different. They're challenging. They add a little new spin for the people like me who have been doing the story modes year after year, and they're kind of repetitive at this point. These are the new little modifiers. This is like what our mythic pluses are in WoW, where it's just like, here's some modifiers, but this, you get to pick your modifier. You don't have to wait each week and be like, no, I don't like this modifier. So that's what I enjoy.
You're like, I ain't running that. Let me see what's the modifier. Nope, ain't running mythics this week.
Yeah, exactly. So I finished all these last year when they came on. I get the achievements for finishing them all. But the difficulties default on it. I think you're on expert difficulty on every single one of these challenges.
Oh,
You don't.
I'm not worried about that. I'm an expert. Don't worry about it. Speaking of Jason Winter mentioning things in chat, the Boston Uprising in the Overwatch League has parted ways with Soon based on visa complications. Apparently, they're not a fan of the team playing remotely. They'd rather have them all in one place. So, unfortunately, I mean, is he going to get picked up by anybody? I mean, you want that Tracer, right? But it's a bit late. Maybe later in the season by some team here, but talk about shitty timing.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll have to see. We'll have to see where Soon ends up. The April Fool's thing. I actually want. I forgot about the April Fool's thing. So everybody apparently still wants Diva to keep her April Fool's buff. So you eject, right, and then you're weak, right? Well, in the April Fool's buff modes where everybody had different modifiers and stupid things on certain abilities, the eject ultimate ability ends up calling mech after a cooldown, and the mech slammed into the ground so Diva can get back inside, and it was doing like 600 damage when it slammed into the ground. So basically it was totally overriding like different specials across the board, like Winston's Primal Rage. Okay, yeah, 850 hit points. That's great. Let's take 600 of those bitches away. just keep that. Yeah. Apparently, players like that. You can't keep that in game. I mean, that would just be ridiculous.
It's bad enough because I think it does like 50 damage normally, and it's bad enough when you're at low health and you die to that, and like it's in the kill feed and it shows you got crushed by the mech, and it's like super embarrassing. It's more embarrassing, I think, than being punched to death. It's just like, if that was in the game, it would
what I wish they did keep. You know what I wish they did keep though. So they definitely should have kept this shit right here. This, and they've done this for years, but this should just be a mainstay. This should be a mode that I can just turn on and just give everything googly eyes. Although this year, even the payloads had googly eyes. I freaking love Overwatch with googly eyes. This is just fantastic. This is how you market to me, Blizzard. This is how you market your PvP-based game to me. Slap some googly eyes on shit, and I'm all aboard.
The best one, I think, I think it was Hammond, right? The hamster. He's got a pair of sunglasses that, like, when he does the thing, he, like, the dramatic gopher, like, he whips his head. And when the sunglasses fall off and the googly eyes remain, like, that's my favorite one.
Q is right. Mike's a simple man with simple needs. I just need some googly eyes. That's all. That's all I need. Even the payloads having it was fantastic. So, like, this should be just something I should be able to turn on and off. Stop teasing me every year with this. I'm gonna let this run.
Jason's right. Bob doesn't have googly eyes, and that's very, very upsetting.
I'm gonna let this run a little bit so that everybody can check these out. The googly eyes. But I do want to ask you though, like, remember when Overwatch was getting talks of like a Netflix special, and I think Diablo was in the mix too. Like, we haven't heard anything on that front, right? But we've seen over the last few years, like Castlevania do its thing animated. We've seen Valve just recently with Dota, which apparently I haven't gotten a chance to watch it yet, but even for non-Dota fans of the game, they're finding the animated anime very enjoyable. So I'll have to check that out. Like,
I've actually heard the exact same.
Should there be an Overwatch or a Diablo one? It was like almost not really confirmed by different people over the last couple of years on, I'm working on a project. I'm final talks with Blizzard about like, should there be one, or is maybe I kind of feel like Diablo could do it. I kind of feel like Overwatch, there's hours of
every single
Overwatch
one of their
shorts
franchises could do
right
it
now already out there. And isn't that what they're kind of banking on doing with Overwatch too? Like, I think if you were going to do a short, an animated series or anything like that with Netflix, if you're going to do it with Overwatch, you probably should have already done it, right? I just get the feeling that maybe that's that type of content. They kind of want that in Overwatch 2 right now. I don't know. Right. What do you think? I definitely would watch a Diablo one. An Overwatch one, I think, would have to be something real special for me to take a look at it.
I honestly think every single one of their franchises could do it. Like, everything. Lost Vikings, like, everything. Like, pull back the curtain on all of it. I want to see a rock and roll racing one. Like, I want everything.
God.
You know, like, you can't tell me rock and roll racing wouldn't be a badass cartoon. Like,
it definitely
would.
It's a Netflix Jason's saying Shaftnet needs to get to work on it. He does.
Yeah.
He does.
Yeah.
Whatever Shaftnet's doing right now, take it off of him and send him over to Netflix and get that shit done. I
believe he's actually working on Overwatch 2 cinematics.
Yeah.
So,
yes, he is.
But yeah.
I want to see a Diablo one. I'd love to see
all
a Diablo
of them.
one.
All of them would be good, but the problem is I don't want them on Netflix. I don't want, like, I want Blizzard to do them in-house. Like, Blizzard does some fantastic work. You look all the way back.
Great. We're going to get it in 2043 at this rate. We just talked about 9.1.
But, like, their in-house tools, their in-house engine for, like, you can't tell me you wouldn't watch an entire animated series of like, just the WoW, like, in-house, like, in-game cutscenes, like the stuff that they do in engine. You know, like,
I
what
actually
we saw
wouldn't.
for Sylvanas.
I wouldn't.
No?
I would if you went back to the animation style of BC and Lich King. I'm not a fan of, like, the more simplified cartoonish look of some of the lead characters these days. I mean, it's fine. I'll watch it in game and deal with it in game, but I just think I liked the older aesthetic in Burning Crusade, Wrath of the Lich King, where, it was cartoony, but there seemed to be a little more realistic proportions, facial design, stuff like that. They've changed over the years. Maybe more people like it better, but I would watch it back in that era, yes. Probably not in this, because Anduin's face bothers me. Like, this might sound... this is such a stupid thing. But Anduin's head bothers me. I'm like, nobody has a skull that looks like that. That skull is a bowling ball on a toothpick. That is just... No. I'm sorry. I'd watch it.
But,
I'd watch the shit out of a Diablo one though.
Just imagine them going back though and taking in-engine.
In the engine scenes for Diablo 3. Hell yeah, I'd watch one of those. Hell yeah,
Just imagine them going in-engine like what we just saw for the Chains of Domination, cinematic, right? The reveal thing like that. But imagine them going back to like Vanilla WoW and retelling that entire story of Vanilla in an animated format that was like a TV show length worth of time, 12 to 16 episodes or whatever. Like, it would be amazing. And
hell, I'm almost to the point though that I'm like, just give me the animated series and cancel the MMO. I just let me. I'll give you $15 a month as long as you give me 4 episodes a month. Let's just keep going. Let's keep going.
So you want Blizzard to be a live streaming
right?
Netflix
like, don't make me play this
instead.
shit anymore. Don't make me play this anymore. Just let me put it on while I play Rocket League.
That signs you're getting old, Mike. You don't want to play games anymore.
Get off my damn lawn. All these Blizzard employees on my lawn. Speaking of the Diablo 3's new season started, 23. Not a lot of news. I mean, for the season, there's a lot of cool stuff. The biggest of which is obviously the new followers, and the whole like revamp to the follower system. You got your new theme and your seasonal cosmetics and all that stuff. But yes. I do like the Hadrig's gift sets. Those look pretty badass. You got to complete chapters 2, 3, and 4 of the season journey, and you'll get those gifts. But followers, obviously the big one. This is a kind of a question here. I feel like like Diablo, everybody wants multiplayer every time a Diablo comes out. But then they always end up doing stuff down the road that just allows you to play it single player. And I feel like followers definitely fall into that bucket for me. They're definitely in the category of helping you solo this game a little easier.
Yeah.
I don't know. For me, it's fine. But I know there's an awful lot of people that love the multiplayer aspect of this. I can count on on 2 hands the number of times I've partied up with friends in Diablo. That is like my go-to chill with Netflix on the monitor game is Diablo, and just run around and kill shit. So followers, I'm all for them, but I know you tend to party with a few people when Diablo 3 came out. Are you taking advantage of followers, or are you just like holding on for Diablo 4 or Diablo 2 remaster at this point?
I'm not big into these season events. I think I've ever done one time, right? So I don't remember if it was the first season or like season 3 or 5. It was early in the game of the seasons. Is me and Omikins one time on a whim just decided we're gonna do the season, and we did like everything up to like I think it was a pet reward or something like that, which we did that all in one day, which was like 16 hours of nonstop playing the game. I don't know. Seasons never really appealed to me. The fact that we're in season 23 right now is just kind of overwhelming to me. It's just like, oh my God. Like, I couldn't imagine playing Diablo for 23 seasons. I couldn't. I like Diablo, don't get me wrong. Like, I don't like it enough to keep playing it that long. That's where we differ. You like your Diablo? I like my Overwatch,
Yeah, and that's why we're very good friends.
Mm-hmm. We're gonna play some Overwatch tonight, right?
No, I'm gonna be busy playing Avengers.
Oh. Whoa.
But you are pumped for Diablo 2 Remastered's alpha, though.
Yeah, I'll definitely try it. I'm a little upset though.
Why? Because you didn't get invited?
Oh, no, I'll probably be in it, but it's not that. It's my class isn't there.
Well, yeah, but hell, neither's the full game. You're only getting Acts 1 and 2, so
yeah.
What? So who do we're getting what? Sorceress, Barbarian, and Amazon.
Yep.
So who do you want?
I'd probably play the Amazon out of those 3, to be honest.
What's your class of choice?
Necromancer.
Necro, yeah, my man. I knew there was a reason I liked you sometimes. Just sometimes. And it's only single player, by the way. We should point that out because we were just talking about multiplayer with the follower system in D3. The technical alpha, only Act 1 and 2, only those 3 classes, and it is single player. But it's going to run until, like April 12th. So you'll have like 4 days, the 8th through the 12th, if you happen to get invited. They'll be going out in waves in your email. Finally up, before we go to lore or lies, let's talk a little Hearthstone. It did have its expansion launch. Kind of want to just bring it all back and follow up on that one. Hey, surprise, Hearthstone had a rocky expansion launch. I'm sure you're shocked and amazed by this. There are patch notes that are just a list of bug fixes. Just an absolute list of bug fixes that were put in this week. So hopefully this will help alleviate some things. Zista, what do you got there? What are you doing? Besides your Hearthstone lagging out like crazy. He's like, you are lagging yourself out like crazy. There you go. You're back.
I did. There. I'll fix that.
You're back.
Because I still had Overwatch open. My ex.
Gotcha. I'm like, what the hell is he doing? So yeah, there are a ton of bug fixes.
Overwatch and Hearthstone all up.
There are a ton of bug fixes. So take a look at those if you've been playing Barons, Forged in the Barons. Book of Mercenaries goes live today. That's cool. Some PvE content in your card games. You a fan? Do you do that stuff?
Kind of here and there. I used to do them a lot more.
You did punk out and end up buying this, so I figure you'd be like all over all of the content.
Well, so like here's Book of Heroes, right? There's 32 updates for Book of Heroes. This was the last expansion, right? 32 of them. I'm in the middle of one of them right now. Like, so it's like, I'm challenged 2 of 8. Can't too many dialogue, but I don't know. Like, I have every encounter or every single player thing that they've released. I want to say like I've finished all of them up through like Kobolds and Catacombs. And then everything after that is like half completed. I've never just sit here and hammered them all out.
So I guess the answer is no, you don't do those things.
I do them. I just don't do them to completion. I just don't do them to completion. Like, so with this one, we get a new hero. And in doing so, by finishing it, we end up with you get a card pack that is like a warrior booster. So you get a card pack that contains only warrior cards for completing it. So for me, when I played through Book of Heroes, I kind of played through the classes that I enjoy playing, and the ones that I didn't, I just kind of put off to the side. So,
well, it's important that when you're playing with your Hearthstone, you always play with it through to completion.
Old Milk in chat says, "Thank God Zista isn't a surgeon. Did the surgery, but not to completion."
But not to completion. I didn't. Yeah. We got started, but you died. Why? Didn't we say that before on the show? That's the second time Whole Milk has put that in our chat. This feels vaguely familiar. That we were talking about somebody dying from you being their doctor, not because the surgery wasn't a success, but because it wasn't finished. Anyway, yes. Was I supposed to close that incision? If you want 6 free packs, by the way, hurry up, go link your Blizzard account and your YouTube. The drops are still running. They're still a thing. So you can get
I'm surprised because them switching to YouTube, I wasn't sure how the drops. I think because like I know we had the problem with Overwatch. They kind of have
to do the drops to get anybody to watch on YouTube.
Well, yeah, we had the problem. That was the big problem when Overwatch League came over to YouTube. It's like they didn't have a system in place for drops, so I think that contributed to a lot of numbers spiking. Like not in anybody's favor for watching.
Yeah.
When that first went over, but now it seems like they got that system all sorted out. I personally do not have my account linked to YouTube, so I need to go do that.
I don't either, and I'm not going to. You can keep your 6 free packs. I'll keep my dignity.
Okay.
It's not really.
You don't want
anything.
Overwatch unlocks later?
Apparently,
And
from
how
what
much you
Jason said in
love
chat, the drops for Overwatch League didn't work when they finally did get them up and running.
Yeah.
Let's slide
That was a
over and
disaster.
do Lore or Lies. This is the segment of the show where we give you 3 statements based in Blizzard or Warcraft lore. We've been following the story of Shadowlands right now, so it'll be Warcraft based. Our lore keeper, Missy, you can follow her right there on Twitter at LilMissy4205. Lovely of her to volunteer her knowledge and expertise. We thank her and all the other volunteers at Ready Check Radio so much, so much. Now, we only have 2 of us, so I'll read one, Zisto will read one, then I'll read one. Again, you have to tell us if statement 1, 2, or 3 contains the falsehood and what we were lying about in the comments below on readycheckradio.com or over on the YouTube channel. Now, our lore keeper left a subtle inconsistency last week with the numbers in Lore or Lies, and if you paid attention between the second and the third statement, you probably got this. The lie was in the second statement, as there are 5 traits of the ideal Maldraxxi soldier. 1, the ambition to rise above one's foes. 2, the might to crush them. 3, the insight to discern their plans. 4, the guile to outwit them. And 5, the relentless pursuit of victory, even in the face of inevitable defeat. That's last week's. This week, with the seat of the Primus locked and the House of the Chosen remains against the treason of the other 2, to keep the house from falling, reinforcements are required. So here we go. Statement number 1. The houses in Maldraxxus have 2 barons to support the Margrave. Baroness Draka was one of the House of Eyes, and the other was sent to investigate what happened to the House of Rituals. Draka has not heard from them since, but they may have found something.
The second House of Eyes Barons is a denizen from Azeroth as well. Lady, now Baroness Vosh. Before she will help the House of the Chosen, she needs to finish her mission first at the House of Rituals, but she wishes to learn more information first.
Statement 3, before helping the Baroness, though, she wants to test her might against yours. She'd be completely embarrassed if you could not best her a second time, and the treachery of Maldraxxus will require more strength than when you last saw her. Which one of those 3 statements has the falsehood, and what is the falsehood? Let us know in the comments below, and maybe we'll give out an honorary award to you next week. Chat, as always, once we're done here, don't go anywhere. We've got a streamer coming up to hang out, and oh man, Jason, I am so happy about what you're streaming tonight. How are you, my friend?
Hey, why don't we have drops for this show?
We
What
should.
can we have drops
We
for?
should. This is the number 2 YouTube channel on the
It
planet.
is. We could have
That's what the
drops
staff tells us.
for I don't know, for the crap on your shelves behind you.
You
Yes.
could have Marvel Avenger drops.
Yeah.
No, nobody wants that crap.
No, that's just the player number that's dropping.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
System must spit out his water.
2 weeks in a row
Anyway,
now.
Jason, what the hell are you streaming after the show today?
I'm going to be streaming Nier Automata, which I started over the weekend.
Love it.
Streamed out on my channel, and I'm going to keep going today. So
Love it. So you're not that far into it, but you said you're enjoying it so far.
Yeah,
but you're
yeah,
not like
more
heavily
like in the
invested yet.
I'm liking the combat of it. It's pretty interesting, pretty varied.
And it just gets better. Wait till you start getting to the MMO style bosses and stuff like that.
Boy.
I think you'll love it. I think you'll love it. Chat, if you want to check it out, watch Jason experience it for the first time. Hang tight. We're going to do a couple minutes post-show, get things settled down here. We'll go dark for 20 seconds. Jason Winter will be back. Of course, we'll be back next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern with another episode of Snowbound, the Blizzard podcast. Until then, Zista, where can everybody find you?
You can find me down here at itzista or on Twitch at Zista, Xizta.
I'm Mike Byrne. You can follow me personally right there at MagicMan1, but more importantly, follow at RC Radio, RAIDEO, so you get tweets on all the shows when they go live and when we're hanging out on stream. You can come hang out with us. Stay safe. We'll see you out on the servers. Later.